Okay. Okay.
I'm not totally sure which one.
So, did anyone write down
Anything?
anything? What do you write down if you'd like to share?
Well, we couldn't actually make sure we understood what we were doing, so we kind of made up what we were doing.
Okay, good.
And so the very first one is why do it? And I think that was implied in what it said, but you know, I kind of put my own lens on these things, and so I want a stronger, more resilient community. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay, great. And that could be a mission statement.
That could be a mission statement and a motivating factor.
Great. But people know you care about a stronger, more resilient community when they're working with you, and that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Yeah.
I didn't get to the guidelines
Okay.
because I was obsessing over the first two.
Okay.
But I could read it, but it's
Yeah.
not exactly a business.
Okay.
There's a dance community in Portland in which many participate as dancers, musicians, callers, and overall organizers. But a few people have decided that they are more in charge or more valuable than others, while other people have little say in how things are done. So why do it? I want to increase the inclusiveness, equality, and cooperative attitude. So what to do first? Talk to other members of the community. And secondly, write down ideas for how the community should be. I didn't get my guidelines yet.
Great. So increase inclusiveness, equality, and I forget
Yeah.
the rest. Yeah. And then talk to people and get the guidelines. Yeah. Great. What else? Yeah.
Well, we struggle with how to be democratic and cooperative when it takes so long to get a decision made about things, and opportunities then fall away. And so I'm the leader. You know, I want to get it done. Come on, guys. And so the problem of trying to bring a group together when they can't make up their mind. So I have not succeeded in educating them or persuading them.
Okay.
So I move on.
Okay. And for community guidelines, did anyone write down any community guidelines? Maybe we should do another 5 minutes and write down things. If education is important or getting things done is important, you could write that down as guidelines. Yeah.
See, that leaves me a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what for what community. What guidelines do you want?
Sure. Sure. Thanks. So is there anything you're involved in or thinking of starting where you'd like it?
I have multiple different ones, so that there's multiple different necessities.
So if you only pick one, because I think we can only think about one thing at a time. If you pick one, what might it be?
I would think that I would. Are you just talking about just my personal?
Just your personal thing, yeah.
Out of the three, that's a tough one. I don't know. I wish I could come up with that answer for myself because I'm so buried in all of them. I guess I'm going to call it Occupy Portland. I guess what we're trying to continue doing with that, and so we have community guidelines, but
Okay.
we struggle with them really bad.
Okay, so maybe you've already done that, and maybe it's other things that we might get to.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we spend another 5 minutes working on this? Yeah, great. We'll do that.
So maybe
Yeah.
There are no there's no way. So
so groups have kind of spun off
I
into
want
their
to build.
most of their stuff are doing. The question is how do we keep everything around?
Not just
Instead of fitting in more with the world and instead of being a cancer on it or a virus.
Okay, so I'll interrupt again. So I was asked what are generative rules, and there's a guy, Ward Cunningham, who invented the wiki and lives in Portland, and he works on different ways people can cooperate with each other. And he talked about two kinds of rules. One's generative and one's prescriptive. And prescriptive rules are when you see a traffic light stop for 13 seconds and slow down in this way by putting your foot on the brake in this way, that's prescriptive. Generative, I mean, the traffic light is pretty prescriptive anyway, but generative would be when you see a red light, stop and be more aware of what's going on around you. Stop what you're doing and look around. Generative would be responsible for what you do. So at Collective Agency, we got asked, could someone fly a toy helicopter around the space? It's a 5,000 square foot loft, it has high ceilings. And I kind of thought, and I didn't want to say yes, because I didn't want to be responsible if I said yes. But this guy, I said, well, we have community guidelines. If you think you can fly the helicopter around in the space and stay within the guidelines, then you can do it. And he said, hold on, and he went and he looked at the sheet on the wall. And he went to see if he could do it. And he came back, he said, no, I don't think I can fly it around and stay within the community guidelines. So he didn't, but I didn't have to decide. And someone else, once in a while, will have dogs come in with their owners, and that's just happens sort of always. Once in a while, a dog comes in. It's always an amazingly good, super quiet, happy dog. People like seeing it. There's someone who wanted to make a policy on dogs, and she wrote a 6-page contract for dog owners. And it would have had the dog chained to the desk. It would have had certain rules on, and it would only have worked for the first certain number of people. It basically would have worked for her. And I said, there's no way. We have council meetings, which are representatives, which I'll talk about later on. But I said for myself, there's no way I want to agree to this contract, because then we'll have contracts for everything. And that's very prescriptive, and we can just say we have community guidelines. If you really want to rule it, you can go through this process, but you don't need to micromanage other people. So with writing up the rules, yeah, they can be really broad. And I saw a website the other day that I signed up on. It said if you agree to 7 of these 9 principles, you can join. And I totally disagreed with, I don't know, with some of it. But I agreed with 7 out of 9. Not 100% on each, but mostly. And I think it's fine for people to agree mostly with this stuff, as long as they're responsible. And I guess for me, that's I don't expect 100% from anyone, including myself, but I want close to 100%. But I think each of these rules that you decide that are limits for what's not okay or what has to happen, I think everyone has to agree to every one of those. Maybe they don't think they can do 100%. Maybe they think they can do 80%. But I think you have to have rules. And legally, having talked with lawyers, you can actually kick people out. It's like a terms of service. It's like rules on a bus. If it says don't chew gum on the bus, it's enforceable. It's legally binding. So depending on, that's a whole other way of how do you want to enforce things? Do you want to enforce things? But they can be real, and they can help keep out all the stuff you don't want to deal with in the rest of the world. You can make your world, essentially. So I think they're important to write down. And they can be wrong. You can update them. And you can copy other people's. Okay.